So what changed for me personally that made it wrong before and now makes it right to eat animals? Well, I've always, like I just said, I've always believed that it's unnecessary for health, and now I've changed my position on that. I think it is necessary for most people, if not everyone, to consume animal products.
Hey, what's up guys? So John Venus made another brilliant video trying to justify the needless killing of animals for food. And honestly, I was stuck between making a parody version of this video and a serious version, really just because the amount of he said in this video was just insane, and I just feel like I need to go the logic route in this video, and I'll add some sarcasm here and there, but I really just need to debunk a lot of the he said like straightforwardly as opposed to with sarcasm this time, because watching this video was really hard. So yeah, I'll probably do a sort of like combination of both sarcasm and logic here, but oh my god, like this video is insane. I'm honestly anxious to even just get on with it, so let's get on with it.
My position as a vegan for 5 years has always been that it's wrong for me because I'm an ethical vegan. I chose to be vegan after watching a movie on slaughter footage and all that, like the animal industry. And for me personally, it was wrong to eat meat, knowing the truth and knowing or thinking I knew that it was unnecessary for my health to do so.
So here John is explaining what made him go vegan in the first place, after watching Earthlings and thinking that it was unnecessary to eat animal products. Now, notice in the video he says, I thought it was unnecessary. So he's implying here that he's come to the realization that animal products are necessary for him to be healthy. And as per usual, as he did in the last video and in this video, he's providing no actual evidence for these claims. He's just kind of blatantly saying them, baseless conjecture, and not giving evidence. And are we really surprised at this point that he's not providing evidence for his nutritional claims? I'm convinced at this point that he's just going to continue to make these anti-vegan nutritional claims without any evidence. So this might be the last time I even address a nutritional claim from him, because it's the same thing every time. He really just says the claim and then provides no actual studies or anything to justify the nutritional claim that he's even saying.
But I never had the notion that it was wrong for everyone else to choose to eat meat, because everyone is entitled to their belief systems, to their points of view, to their way of doing things. That is hopefully how the world will continue to operate.
So here he's saying that when he was vegan, he never actually thought that every person was immoral for eating animal products. And this is really just the basic point of morals are subjective, and that's going to be the main point he's pushing throughout the rest of this video. The idea that morals are subjective. So, of course, morals are subjective, like I agree, and vegan arguments have nothing to do with some sort of claim that morals are objective. Now, the thing about morals being subjective is that although they are subjective and that everyone has their own morals, they still have to make actual sense, okay? So people can have subjective morals that don't actually make sense, and John is a perfect example of this. So for example, John said in his last video about hunting deer that it's morally justified to hunt deer because they are overpopulating and they are damaging the planet, okay? So he's saying that the reason that justifies killing a being is if they are overpopulating and are damaging the planet, okay? So that's his reasoning. So if we take that kind of reasoning and think about it in the context of humans, it actually holds, and it actually holds more so with humans than with deer. Humans are overpopulating like deer are in certain areas, but we're also the most environmentally damaging species on the planet. So John here in his subjective morals is saying that it's moral to kill deer because of trait X, okay? And humans have trait X, and he won't accept the same reasoning. So this is an example of logically inconsistent morals within a person's subjective morals. So yes, although morals are subjective, we can still make the claim and find out that somebody's subjective morals are logically inconsistent or don't make any actual sense. Okay, so this also applies to other people. If somebody says that it's justified to eat bacon because it tastes good, okay, well, what if somebody said it's justified to eat humans because they taste good, and the person was initially saying that it's justified to kill a being if it tastes good, and then that same person denies the reasoning or denies the act of killing a human because it tastes good, that person is being illogical and logically inconsistent in their subjective morals. So just to reiterate, yes, morals are subjective, but we can find logical loopholes within people's own subjective morals and call them out and show that they're actually hypocrites, or their morals aren't making actual sense. Subjective morals are bound by logic. We can't just have a system of subjective morals that are just based in contradictions. Like, that means that we can literally have any sort of moral principles and they can also contradict each other, and that would just make no sense whatsoever. And I'll even say that somebody could have subjective morals that literally just don't make sense. But if they don't make sense, then they're not even, there's no actual basis for them. It doesn't even make sense. So yeah, I really wanted to hammer that subjective morals point, because that's the main point he's making throughout this video, that people have their own morals and, we can't judge and whatever.
So what changed for me personally that made it wrong before and now makes it right to eat animals? Well, I've always, like I just said, I've always believed that it's unnecessary for health, and now I've changed my position on that. I think it is necessary for most people, if not everyone, to consume animal products.
So here John is saying that he's actually changed his position on whether or not animal products are necessary. Now, he didn't just say that it's necessary for some, he said it's necessary for most, if not everybody, okay? And as usual, I mean, whatever, he provides no evidence for this claim. We're just gonna really move on at this point. But I'm gonna point out here, before we move on, that on the same day that he uploaded this video, where he said that most, if not all people require animal products to be healthy, he also posted an advertisement for vegan meal plans on his story. So he's still selling a diet that he thinks the majority, if not everybody, shouldn't be on for health. Okay, does anybody like sense the complete absurdity here? This man is selling a meal plan that he believes that most, if not everybody, should not be on in the interest of actual health and good health outcomes. I'm starting to think he just doesn't even think about like what he's putting out and how, you know, there's a contradiction here and a contradiction there and whatever. I don't even know if he's thinking at this point, but yeah, just had to point that out because this man is just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say at this point.
And if you have a more of an objective point of view on right and wrong, and you believe that there is a guideline sent from God and that there is a right and there is a wrong, then even then, you know, we know that it is our right to eat animals and to do something that we've been doing for millions of years, and that all animals in nature are doing. Whether you're a plant or an animal, we're eating animals.
So here John is making the classic, oh, we've been doing it for millions of years and animals do it too fallacy, where you say that, oh, it's okay to kill and eat animals because it's been happening for a long time and other animals do it. So just to address the first fallacy, just because something is happening for a long time doesn't mean that it's moral, John. You know, we've done a lot of things for a long time that aren't necessarily moral, John, like slavery. So because it's been happening for a while, that doesn't mean that it's moral, okay? There's a lot of things that have been happening for a while that aren't moral. And the idea that it's moral to do something solely because other animals do it. John, lions kill their baby cubs, okay? There's infanticide in nature. There's rape in nature. Animals do a lot of very fucked up things. Does that mean that they're moral for us to do? Is it moral for us to just commit infanticide because lions do it? Is it moral for us to rape others because other animals in nature do it? Like, obviously not, John. I'm surprised that you're making these sort of fallacies when you were an ethical vegan for so long. Like, I think that at this point you would at least understand that these are all fallacies, and I'm pretty sure you faced them yourself when you were an ethical vegan. I'm sure people said this in your comment sections. Like, did you just read those comments and then deep down just think like, you know, they're actually right, but I can't refute those arguments? Like, because you're using these extremely fallacious level 1 anti-vegan arguments now, and you were an ethical vegan for 5 years facing those arguments. So I'm just confused at the fact that you're even going here and making these sort of fallacies, man. Like, I don't know. It's just really weird to me how someone can go from 5 years of being an ethical vegan to not. I think it's obvious at this point that he never really was, but I mean, whatever. On with the video.
The fact is that people can have a completely different reaction to something compared to someone else based on how we were raised, right? So someone that is raised on, you know, Disney movies and Hollywood today and not in touch with nature will think that it feels wrong to kill Bambi in the woods with a knife or with a rifle or whatever. But someone just 50 years ago or 100 years ago would not feel the same, you know, negative feelings towards eating or hunting their food. They would actually probably feel the opposite. They will feel a sense of gratitude for the animal or a sense of happiness that they're now going to survive.
So here John is just going over how, you know, the way you're raised kind of determines how your morals are going to be, and nobody denies this. This is pretty obvious. Like, yeah, Nazis would think that Jews are bad people because of the way they were raised, but because a person was raised a certain way doesn't mean that it's justified for them to act in that certain way. If somebody's raised to think it's moral to enslave people or think it's moral to kill Jewish people like in Nazi Germany, that doesn't mean that those actions are moral in virtue of the fact that they were raised to believe those things and to do those things, okay? So yes, I agree descriptively that people's morals can be the product of their environment and the way they're raised, but that doesn't mean that whatever actions result from those environments are justified. So guys, that's the end of the video. This is probably the worst of the last 3 videos I've covered on John Venus. He's probably just gonna come out with some more stuff that I can, you know, have a good time whatever, refuting and whatever. So yeah, stay tuned for the next John Venus brilliant anti-vegan video, and I'll see you in the next video.